Welcome, everyone. I'm comfy here. I hope you are too. Can you make cheese from humans? And would it be vegan? I don't think. Great! Great! Elysium is becoming real. How fun. Wow. Bad idea, probably. Somebody over here is arguing about immigration and shit. And the way that it goes is there's this post here from First Migrant Facility for Children opens under Biden. Now, let's go ahead and take a look exactly how bad this is, because it's pretty bad. Ah, what is this? What is this picture? Chairs are set up 6 feet apart inside an intake building at a facility for unaccompanied migrant children in Carrizo Springs, Texas. Teens began arriving Monday before being placed with a government-approved sponsor. Ooh, none of that sounds like a cage. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and see. Because here's the thing. We all know that the Obama administration was the one that built the cages. And if you don't know, that's actually been confirmed. Dozens of migrant teens boarded vans Monday for the trip down a dusty road to a former man camp for oil field workers here. The first migrant child facility opened under the Biden administration. The emergency facility, a vestige of the Trump administration that was open for only a month in 2019, is being reactivated to hold up to 700 children ages 13 to 17. The government officials say the camp is needed because facilities for migrant children have had to cut capacity by nearly half because of the coronavirus pandemic. At the same time, the number of unaccompanied children crossing the border has been inching up, with January reporting the highest total, more than 5,700 apprehensions for that month in recent years. Immigration lawyers and advocates question why the Biden administration would choose to reopen a Trump-era facility that was the source of protests and controversy, from the tent city in Tornillo, Texas, to a sprawling for-profit facility in Homestead, Florida. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit right there. Emergency shelters have been criticized by advocates for immigrants, lawyers, and human rights activists over their conditions, cost, and lack of transparency in their operations. It's unnecessary, it's costly, it goes absolutely against everything Biden promised he was going to do. San Antonio-based immigration lawyer who represents unaccompanied minors. It's a step backward, is what it is. It's a huge step backward. During the campaign, Biden pledged to undo former President Donald Trump's hardline immigration policies. In his first month in office, Biden signed several executive orders reversing many of those policies. Last week, he and House Democrats introduced a plan that would provide a path to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants. The administration also reversed some of Trump's expulsion practices by accepting unaccompanied children into the country, a change that also is contributing to an increase of minors in government facilities, officials said. Health and Human Services, the agency that oversees services for migrant children, said that Biden administration is moving away from the law enforcement-focused approach of the Trump administration to one in which child welfare is more centric. At the 66-acre site, groups of beige trailers encircle a giant white dining tent, a soccer field, and a basketball court. There's a bright blue hospital tent with white bunk beds inside. A legal services trailer has the Spanish word bienvenidos, or welcome, on a banner on its roof. There are trailers for classrooms, a barber shop, a hair salon. The facility has its own ambulances and fire trucks, as well as its own water supply. The operation is based on federal emergency management, Weber said. This is very interesting. A legal services trailer has the Spanish word bienvenidos, or welcome, on the banner. Like, this is a lot better than kids in cages. What's up, Rocky Flame? The operation is based on a federal emergency management system. The trailers are labeled with names such as Alpha, Charlie, and Echo. Staff members wear matching black and white t-shirt displaying their roles: disaster case manager, incident support, emergency management. The most colorful trailer is at the entryway, where flowers, butterflies, and handmade posters still hang on its walls from Carrizo's first opening in 2019. I'm doing really well, Rocky. How are you? Having exploded in growth in the past 4 years, adding more than 80 facilities for a total of about 200, Weber said putting children in permanent shelters is preferable to the influx shelters like Carrizo. but nearly half of those beds are unusable during the pandemic. Okay, interesting. As of Sunday, there were about 7,000 children in HHS custody, over 90% capacity under pandemic-era requirements. Weber said Carrizo is expected to close when the pandemic ends. Every kid that comes into this program is a symptom of a broken immigration system who has worked, okay, that's what Weber says, who's worked since 2012. So today we've got over 7,000 symptoms of a broken immigration system. Yeah. Interesting. The majority of child migrant facilities are subject to state licensing requirements. Temporary influx centers like Carrizo are not. However, Weber said Carrizo would meet or exceed Texas licensing standards if applicable. The influx facilities also cost more, about $775 a day, compared with $290 a day for permanent centers. Weber said, oh, look at that. That's the actual tent. Very interesting. It's big. It's not small. Weber said the influx shelters keep children from ending up in Border Patrol situations, which have holding cells that were not designed for children. So the detention centers overseen by ICE are reserved for adults or families and often are run by private prison companies. Very interesting. So this is different. I've been reading about two different locations. One is a permanent facility, right? Which has been reopened, and another is a non-permanent facility. So the non-permanent facilities are $775 a day per child, whereas the permanent ones are $290 a day. And let me double check if I'm reading this correctly. Dozens of migrant facility. Overseen by ICE or reserved for adults and families, like we had said earlier. Carrizo Springs is run by the non-profit BCFS Health and Human Services, a government contractor for the Office of Refugee Resettlement, the agency within HHS that focuses on unaccompanied children. Most of these children arrive to the United States planning to reunite with sponsors, usually relatives or friends of the family. Office of the Refugee Resettlement case managers work with the children to identify and conduct background checks on the sponsors. If cleared, children are released to live with them while they go through the immigration court process. Despite what she's heard about the camp's amenities, the immense cost and scale of the Office of Refugee Resettlement Operations points to a government program that profits from holding migrant children who are shepherded in unmarked vans to remote areas. Here is the problem. The reason why this is bad, okay? The head of immigration justice, basically, for minors, unaccompanied minors, is saying that despite the amenities, the price and the cost of it make it a thing that people can capitalize on. Someone is making money off of migrant children now. That's the problem. It's not that this is great, like, yay, they have amenities and they feel better and they have bunk beds and, you know, they've got fucking blankets and people are representing them. I was like, yeah, this is all good. But now people have an incentive for finding kids who are abandoned at the border. That is bad. So, yikes. Oh, no, yeah. No, yeah. No, the honeymoon for Biden is totally over. Are you kidding me? I didn't even have a honeymoon period. I was just happy that Trump was out, you know? I was like, oh my God, finally. That guy's out. Okay, back to shitting on a normal Dem. Yay. Oh, you're hiding under the guise of capitalism. Well, look at you. I was becoming an anti-capitalist like the entire time that Biden was going through his shit. And it's just because Trump was noisy the entire time. And people were so focused on money and money and money and money and money that we stopped caring about people. It's just, though they are coming from at least 2 weeks of quarantine at the other Office of Refugee Resettlement facilities in the region. The average stay for a child in custody across its facilities is 42 days. In the 2020 fiscal year, migrant children spent an average of 102 days in federal government custody. So far, no children at HHS care have been hospitalized for COVID-19, Weber said. If we could find another way, that'd be great. On the flip side, these kids just come in and they're turned loose on the street. They end up being homeless kids. But Brandmiller is worried this is the latest government tactic to deter immigrants from seeking refuge in the United States. She said that Biden administration should not be reviving old systems but looking for new solutions. If they were actually addressing the issues that are endemic in a system that has been established for many years and is flawed, if they were addressing the inadequacies instead of creating parallel jail for kids, I would have more hope, she said. And the truth is, she's not wrong. Even though these amenities are better than what Trump did, it does not mean that it's not a prison. And it really is. If you think about it, a basketball court, a hospital, right? A judicial segment. Those are all the things that jails have for people who are in jail, for prisoners. So that way they can appeal, so that way they can go through the justice system and the court process, so that way they have some form of entertainment and they have health. And in every one of those systems, you know they get treated poorly because they are looked at as if they are less than human, they are criminals, right? So they don't need the love and compassion that you give to your everyday citizen. This is the rhetoric that goes on in the minds of the common everyday person, you know?
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took aim at Senator Joe Manchin over a report he is undecided on the confirmation of Representative Deb Haaland, President Biden's nominee for Interior.
And this is Neera Tanden that Biden nominated has nearly the same views as Trump on Libya. There's a Republican Party and a Diet Republican Party. Rocky, you are 100% correct. It's been like that for years.